had warned this was more or less likely to happen. Do you see some relief by investors that the company has gone ahead and taken these moves?
Well, it's obviously not good news, but it does remove an uncertainty and a key question that was constantly being asked, especially in light of Ford already suspending their dividend. What GM did back in late March was really interesting when they made their big announcement about drawing $16 billion on their credit line. They did not mention the dividend at that time, and it was a very appropriate opportunity to say they were going to eliminate the dividend if they were, and then they didn't. So it raised the question of, well, maybe they're thinking they can hold on to this depending on when they think they can restart plants, because that's what this is all about now, is when can you restart plants.
Right.
And it looks like given the late April dividend announcement would be, now would be the normal dividend announcement anyway, and it just looks like they're not comfortable keeping it.
Yeah, so what happens now for this company? How much liquidity do they have? What more assistance might they need, either from the capital markets or the government?
Yeah, the good news is as long as production can restart, probably by my estimate, maybe in GM's case, probably late September, early October. I don't think they need any additional funding, even if plants stay closed. That's obviously not ideal. You want to get the plants going immediately because they book revenue on wholesale, not dealers selling vehicles. But they're still hemorrhaging cash, probably well over $4 billion a month. So we just really need to get another liquidity update on May 6th when they report numbers. Any update on minimum cash to run the business would be helpful. We just, we can estimate these things, and that's where I get the timing I just gave you. But some more primary source information, given the current circumstances.
Right. As you said, it saves them about $2 billion a year by halting the dividend. And I mean, that it must be somewhat reassuring that now this time frame can take them to September or October to restart production without maybe needing any more new funding. When do you think the dividend could come back?
Yeah, that's a tricky one. I mean, if demand were to come roaring back this year, you'd like to think, well, it could come back this year, but you still have to repay all this debt first that you've borrowed, and you don't know how long you're going to be closed, and that would determine what you can repay in 2020. So I think realistically, it would be probably late 2021 at the earliest, maybe even 2022. We just don't know. It depends on the recovery of the economy.
Absolutely. That's the investor question. And for the stakeholders, the employees, the parts of the U.S. economy that depend on car production, are we talking about more layoffs? I mean, what do you think?
Yeah, the hourly workers at the Detroit 3 are obviously under the protection of the UAW, so their jobs, I think, are quite safe for now, and probably will be for quite a while. The supply chain, though, is a very different equation, because it's not just the really big tier one suppliers like a Borg Warner or Adient or Lear. There's lots of little, often family-owned businesses all throughout the Midwest. They might do a random part of the vehicle that consumers don't even think about.
Sure. And
when you restart production, these suppliers, they need to then go upstream and get their own raw materials, and they just may not have the capital. I mean, the big ones that I mentioned are probably going to be fine. It's those little ones, and if those little ones go down, then the big suppliers also have a problem.
No, that's a great point.
We had this issue in 2009, yeah. It's an important point that people don't think about, and we got through it in 2008, 2009, so I think we can do it again.
I hope so. We'll leave it on that hopeful note. But again, like you said, a lot of jobs at stake, and not just from GM here.